I wanted to just revisit yesterday's episode partially, but also apply a little bit of what I've talked about so far in Monday's episode and yesterday's episode, and really just dive into the idea that, at the end of the day, what we attend to sometimes leads to our greatest motivations, because sometimes we get into this realization that we don't want to live a certain way anymore, and so our motivations automatically change and inspire us to become more motivated to change in a different way, and often a positive way.
And who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Welcome back to the Winter Arc Podcast. My name is Grant, and if you were listening to yesterday's podcast, I was kind of talking about the fact that, oftentimes our greatest intentions and our best desires and the desires that we have but we can't carry out are often never carried out because we attend to different things. Like, for instance, if we doom scroll a lot, and if we're honestly making time our enemy, as I said in Monday's episode, and etc. But the thing I wanted to talk about was something very practical. Like, for instance, a while ago, I literally quit TikTok indefinitely. And just recently I re-downloaded it because I wanted to start using it for social media clips for this podcast and stuff. But I still haven't got around to, honestly, making social media clips for myself because I'm just trying to pace myself and realize, you know what? This podcast is not about reaching many people. This is about me talking about my daily, not grind, but my daily productivity and my daily journal of how I'm processing productivity and how I'm processing of becoming more motivated in my daily life. And so what I wanted to kind of talk about was the fact that why did I quit TikTok in the first place, right? So I came to this realization when doom scrolling, right, as we all do, that I didn't like TikTok. I was just going through hoping, kind of like the way when people gamble, right? And many people have actually said that psychologically this is the reason why people are so addicted to doom scrolling, is we're literally using a sort of slot machine, basically, when we go and scroll on our phones, video after video, so that we get those dopamine hits now and then through the videos that we do find. So we keep scrolling because we're like, oh, maybe the next one's going to be funnier. Maybe the next one's going to be more interesting. Maybe I'll learn something in the next video. And so basically, long story short, I will say Instagram's algorithm is better. So this is partially why I quit TikTok. But I want to talk about this because my need to protect my time and my need to escape something that really I hated ultimately was greater than what I attended to. And what do I mean by that? Like, for instance, I thought TikTok would give me something funny to watch after a stressful day. I thought TikTok would give me something that I would enjoy. But at the end of the day, I started to realize more and more that it just didn't. It simply didn't. And so more and more I just realized, you know what? I don't really need TikTok. And so that day when I realized that, and when I realized that I kind of hated TikTok and I had no use for it, and the only reason I kept scrolling was because, oh, maybe this one will be funny. But because I was so disappointed so many times, I think I finally attended to the desire and the idea of, oh, I'm going to have more time on my hands now because I'm not looking at TikTok anymore. And I've applied this to Instagram too at different times when I've done different detoxes and stuff. And so, and I think that's where detoxes from social media actually stem from this realization and this desire to attend to the desire of, I need a detox. I need a break from this because ultimately I'm not getting satisfaction. I'm not getting anything from this. I'm just getting fake dopamine hits. I mean, there's still dopamine hits. That's why you're addicted to it and why you want to keep coming back to your phone and keep scrolling. But think about it, right? You get to this point where you're just sick of it. And I think that this is where many people are actually with social media these days, because ultimately TikTok, Instagram, it's just kind of old. It's like the same trends repackaged in a different way every few 3 months or every few months. It just is what it is. And I think that what's happened is that there's this false expectation of, well, I need social media to be connected to my friends. When was the last time you have made a group chat and you actually had a decent or productive conversation with your friends on social media? Probably none, because probably the last conversation you had with an actual human being on social media was because you saw a funny reel and you sent it to them. Like, that's just reality. And I think what's happened, and the thing that people don't realize, is that you are the product. You are not the consumer. Like, you're not the client to Facebook, to YouTube, to Instagram, to TikTok. You are the product. And what do I mean by that? All these companies, they pay billions of dollars every single year to advertise to you because you are the product. Like, they're not advertising on YouTube because YouTube's the product. You are the product. You are the thing they're advertising to. And so that's what you're doing when you like accept the terms and conditions. Like, you are literally just agreeing to the fact that you are the product and that you're okay with your data being sold and your likes being sold and your interests being sold. That's what it is. But I just heard my cat throw up, but we're going to continue. But besides the obvious fact of social media and stuff, I've even noticed this in just like recent days, right? Of the fact that because of my small steps towards motivation and my small steps of saying yes in the moment, saying yes to the decision to change something, I've realized that, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't matter. And so I find myself, like, recently not really scrolling on my phone as much because I realized, like, oh, I was scrolling on my phone because I thought this was happiness, or I thought this was something of worth or value. And so I just wanted to leave you with that. And, as an update for today, I basically, did a lot of work and was doing a lot of just like basic stuff and trying to really stay on top of things. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, and granted, these daily podcasts are not going to be as structured as like, Monday's episode, because every week there's going to be like a main theme episode, but then the rest of the week is just me kind of talking about how my day went. And so the thing I wanted to talk about, and something I didn't get to talk about on the Labor Day episode, I guess you could call it, that's when the first episode came out, was the fact that, like, on Labor Day, me and my wife went on a picnic, and we were feeding the goldfish in the pond where we were at some bread. And this old couple came over, and the lady said, "Oh, don't feed them bread. That's bad for them." But, one of the things is that, my generation has kind of taken offense to people like coming up against us and being confrontative about things. But oftentimes they're usually trying to say something and they mean well by it. And the only reason you see these like these videos of like quote unquote Karens and boomers getting upset is because people make the situation more volatile. And so I just want to basically like say the fact of like, yeah, sure, was I taken aback of like, oh, why are you confronting me about this? This is stupid. But the thing is that I was like, well, there must be a reason she's telling me this. She's probably not this like negative person that's like trying to like ruin my day. Because I think that's the problem. As soon as we come against confrontation from people, and that's the problem with our society at large. And maybe this is a piece of social media addiction that has actually eaten away at the way we treat others in general. But basically, I just approached her and I was like, "Oh, is it bad for the fish?" And she's like, "Yeah, we actually feed the fish every like day or every other day or something like that." And they showed me their goldfish mix of koi fish and goldfish food that they fed them, and it was actually stuff that was supposed to be good for their intestinal health. And because like the one fish at this particular pond, I noticed was there last year, and it's like huge, it's massive koi fish. And the thing is that in that moment, I could have been offended and then not really engaged them. Or what I did was I chose kindness in the moment and I was just interested. And I said, "Oh, is it bad for the fish?" We just need to be a culture where we're maybe more understanding. I mean, why are we so willing to just hold up our middle finger in traffic when we're cut off or when someone does something stupid on the road? You don't know what they were doing. Maybe they just did it like maybe they just simply made a simple mistake. Why are we so quick to judge when we want people to think the best of us? And so that's what I did in that moment. I just said, oh, is it bad for the fish? And like, we actually had this great conversation for the next 10 minutes, me and my wife and them and the old couple that we talked to. And guess what? I wouldn't have had that great conversation, and I wouldn't have been able to learn something new even if I wasn't open to the fact of I could be wrong. And so that's just something that I thought was interesting about myself and about the fact of how often we're willing to get so offended in the moment when we're confronted about something. And so we can either choose kindness, which doesn't cost anything at all. The only thing it costs is to basically bury our pride. Are you willing to bury your pride in the pursuit of you becoming a person who like desires to actually be a better person? Because like, as I said yesterday, what we attend to is often different than what our best desires are. Are you willing to be patient? Are you willing to be a person of understanding even when others are ignorant? And I'm not saying they were ignorant. I'm just saying like in general, like there are people who are ignorant in your life and they will be ignorant towards you. And so that's a little thought that I just wanted to leave you guys with, because I already made this episode too long, and I'm going to go to bed finally. It's actually kind of funny. The Eagles are playing tomorrow, and I was helping my wife stretch out one of our Eagles shirts that she wanted to wear to work tomorrow because she's pregnant and she wasn't able to fit into it. So I was just like, okay, let me just try this out. So I helped her stretch out the shirt. And so that's what I was doing before this podcast, before I recorded. But I just thought that was kind of a funny little tidbit. But yeah, so this was just my daily journal, my entry number 2 for September the 3rd. And thanks again for listening. I hope it wasn't too random, but again, these journals, I don't know if like they're for other people, but they're mostly for me. And so that's why I'm okay with not a lot of social media posts being posted by me. Because one, I'm still trying to figure out the time, and that's okay. I think that's the whole process and the whole purpose of this podcast. I'm trying to figure out what works and what doesn't in my life. And I hope that anything that I say in this podcast can hopefully be an encouragement to you and be hopefully encouraging to the fact of, guess what? No one has it figured out.